Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced a federal investigation into Saturday's violence in Charlottesville. The FBI and the DOJ's civil rights attorneys are on the ground as we speak. In a statement on this new investigation, the Attorney General says the racial bigotry and hatred witnessed in Virginia yesterday, quote, betrays the core values of America. Here to provide insight into the DOJ's next steps, civil rights attorney Ashley Merchant. Ashley, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's great to see you as well.
It always sounds impressive when you have the DOJ come in, when the FBI goes in with their FBI windbreakers. It's a great visual. Real world, though, what does this mean?
We need some decisive action. We need some action from the FBI, from Jeff Sessions, from the federal government. We need more than just an investigation at this point. This is a civil rights crime. This is a crime, because a civil rights federal crime, because it goes to the heart of the First Amendment. Really, what's happened is these people were there exercising their First Amendment right. They were exercising their right to protest. They were exercising their right to free speech, the First Amendment, our first constitutional amendment.
Ashley,
and they were mouthed over.
Who is the crime committed against? Because if you listen to the alt-right people, they say they were attacked. They were exercising their right to free speech, which actually a federal court upheld on Friday to allow this rally to happen. At the same time, the people on the left, the anti-fascist folks who were there, one of them was killed, a number of them were hurt. So is this a civil rights investigation into both sides, or a civil rights investigation into only the neo-Nazis and white nationalist groups?
It's going to depend on what the person who actually plowed into these people, what was actually in his head. So if he was trying to curtail the free speech of the folks that were there protesting against the white supremacists, then it would be a civil rights investigation against those people's First Amendment right. What's really important to note, though, is everybody's got a First Amendment right here. So the people who were there, what they're calling the far right folks, the white supremacists, they have a First Amendment right. But then the folks that were there protesting against them, they've also got a First Amendment right. So any action that is meant to curtail those folks' First Amendment rights is a federal civil rights crime. And it goes beyond that, though. I mean, this is essentially terrorism. Let's say that this gentleman, that he plowed into these folks to try and quiet their right, try and quiet the fact that they were speaking out against something that was so awful. If he did that to try and stop them from doing that, that's domestic terrorism. That's exactly what we're seeing all across this country, all across the world.
Ashley, hold on, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. The person you're talking about is James Field, the alleged driver of that car. He has been charged in state court by the Albemarle County Sheriff's Department or the Charlottesville Police Department, depending on who actually issued the charges. We have his mugshot here. His mother is saying that she didn't think he was going to a white nationalist rally, but thought he was going to a Donald Trump rally. Take from that what you will. If all of a sudden, though, the way you're talking, this would become a federal case against him, not a state case.
Without a doubt, it becomes a federal case because his act of murder was trying to stop someone from exercising their federally protected right to freedom of speech. So
How does this broaden out, though, in terms of going after some of these groups? Back in the 60s and later into the 70s and 80s, it was Morris Dees down at the Southern Poverty Law Center who pioneered going after these groups civilly. Are there a lot of people in that crowd, some of the people who were injured, this dead woman's family, who may have a case against some of these white nationalist groups?
Well, definitely. There's criminal civil rights violations, and then there's civil rights violations. And so you've got the U.S. Code that protects, that allows the federal government to prosecute people for hate crimes, for civil rights violation, and how the federal government gets jurisdiction and why they should exercise jurisdiction in a case like this is because these crimes were meant to stop someone from exercising a constitutional right. And so they've also got the potential for civil liability as well. And so if the federal government isn't able to prosecute them criminally, which I think that they should attempt at least to investigate and come forward with, they might have the opportunity to do this in civil court where they could get money damages for whatever injuries it is they suffered. But what this is terrorism. This is a hate crime. And I know that folks don't want to look at it that way, but when you've got
Ashley, I'm not sure who folks are want to look at it. We've had United States senators, Republican U.S. senators say that it's terrorism and say that it needs to be gone after. So we appreciate your insights. Thank you very much. Worth noting, at least that one of these alt-right groups told the Charlottesville paper that they will be back. So we'll have to see what the security arrangements would be when that happens. Thank you, Ashley. Liz has more.
Thank you.